Well, happy Friday to you. It is 2 p.m. on this Friday, and thanks for joining us here on the 10 Weather Impact Show. I'm meteorologist Justin Gehrts. We've been in and out of the clouds and the sunshine today, but most of us have had dry weather. Now, that is going to be changing going into tonight and early on Saturday, but the weekend overall is not looking too bad. I know that things were looking a little iffy, touch and go for Mother's Day. That situation has been trending better since yesterday. Not to say that you're going to be completely dry necessarily that day, but not looking at any washouts. It looks like most of Mother's Day is likely to be a dry day. So some good news in that regard. We'll break all that down here in just a moment. Starting off with what's going on here Friday afternoon, as again we've had some of these showers kind of persistent across northern Ohio. We've been grazing some of our northern towns a little bit today, but for the most part we've just seen some clouds around the area. The farther south you are, the more sunshine you've seen, but near and north of 70, it has been fairly gray for most of the day. That said, we have had some blue sky periodically. Let's back out the view some because, of course, we do have the rain coming up later this evening and tonight. And there you see that big stretch of rain already getting into Indiana, going through Illinois, northern Missouri, even into Kansas. This is a slug of moisture that's coming our way and will give us those areas of rain later this evening, overnight, before working out of here by early on Saturday. Now, let's take a look outside right now. We're looking toward Huntington Park. Ohio State baseball having their first regular season game ever at the park there tonight at 6 o'clock, taking on Michigan State. Hopefully things stay dry, but as we get further into the game, may see some showers work into the area, but at least it's not going to be, again, huge downpours the entire time by any means. We've now risen to 66 in Columbus. Winds are out of the southwest at 11 miles per hour. A little gusty from time to time. May see some gusts of 20 to 25 miles per hour. However, with temperatures well into the 60s, yeah, you'll notice it, but it certainly could be worse. As far as how things are looking for your weather impacts coming up here, rainy tonight, yes, but most of this falls during the nighttime hours. Tomorrow looks pretty decent. Any showers work out of here by probably 8, 9 o'clock for most of us, if not earlier. We'll see some sunshine in the afternoon and just a slight chance of a pop-up shower or storm in the evening tomorrow. Sunday, a few showers are around, but those look to be fairly light in nature. So here's your rainfall forecast for tonight. Looks like about a quarter to a half inch is going to be pretty likely area-wide. Some of us may get a little bit more, some of us a little bit less, but you see the general theme here is give or take a quarter to a half inch. That's a bit less than what we had earlier this week, but it's at least a nice little soak that if you've done any of that planting, I'm sure your flowers will certainly appreciate that nice free drink of water. All right, let's talk about Sunday now. We've got Mother's Day, obviously. We have OSU commencement at noon. It usually takes 2.5 to 3 hours, they say, to plan on. I'm expecting some nuisance showers around and nothing heavy. Probably the way things have been looking, under 1/10 of an inch, and a lot of us are going to be well short of even that much. So if you're going to be outside on Sunday, first of all, check the radar on the 10 TV app. And if it looks like you're going to see some rain around, maybe take the umbrella. Otherwise, a jacket with a hood may be just fine. So do bear that in mind, as there may be some passing showers periodically, but they do look light at this point and probably centered on late morning through early afternoon as it appears right now. All right, let's take a look at your Mother's Day history in Columbus. The warmest high we've had on that day, 94 degrees back in 1936. The coolest high, 49 degrees in 1978. Rainiest one back in 1918, nearly 2 inches of rain. So yes, while we have some shower activity in our forecast for Sunday, nothing like that one, so we can be happy about that. All right, here's your hour-by-hour forecast as we see some of those little light showers trying to graze the area over the next few hours, but it's really this evening that activity works into the north and west and then slides through going into the nighttime hours. Here's midnight tonight. Rain is going to be likely just about area-wide the way things are looking. We'll go ahead toward about 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Most of this is going to be working through. Now, from Cambridge down toward Athens, we may still see some lingering showers at that point, but the bulk of central Ohio should be rain-free by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. There will still be some leftover clouds until the afternoon. Then we start to clear out. We'll see a partly to maybe even mostly sunny sky for the afternoon. Here's 2 p.m. looking just fine out there. In the evening, there's a cold front that approaches from the north, may produce an isolated shower or storm. Most of us will completely avoid those, but there could be a couple that get dragged through later in the evening and early overnight hours. You're going to see Sunday, there's not much out there. More clouds than sun, yes. Some spots of green showing up here, but it's not going to be an all-day rain by any means. Just as I mentioned, some nuisance showers here or there. Most of the area, for a good share of the day, is probably going to be trending dry. Something else we've dealt with around here lately, the cool temperatures. Those are not going anywhere anytime soon. However, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Not yet, though. Cool air, of course, in place. We get a little warm up tomorrow, but then reinforcing cool air starts to move back in toward the middle of the week. Looks like that data was having some trouble loading. We'll try that again here. Bear with me. All right, so we see the blues kind of pool down here. It doesn't want to do it. I'll go figure. Well, in any case, I can tell you that there is milder air that starts to spread back our direction in about 10 days' time. It's going to be bringing not just us, but a good share of the country a likelihood of above normal temperatures. So after we've been cool around here so much recently, it does appear we are turning a corner. Again, in about 10 days, looks like around the 17th or 18th is when we'll start to see some of that warmer air begin to push back into the area. As far as how things are looking for today, it'll be cooler in the north where we've had more cloudiness, warmer to the south. Looks like a lot of us are going to be well into the 60s to around 70, but again, cooler in the north where we've had trouble rising so far. About 68 degrees for a high today in Columbus. Late day shower works in here. Best chance is overnight. Then for tomorrow, we'll see a shower chance early in the day. Most of your Saturday is dry with skies turning partly sunny in the afternoon. Slight chance of an evening shower or storm, 72. So really tomorrow's the pick day of the weekend, I would say. Mother's Day, some scattered light showers, otherwise mostly cloudy, 67. Monday, 61. You see the cool down once again early next week. 40 Tuesday morning, so it's going to be a chilly start. Maybe a shower probably late on Tuesday, but the better chance waits until Tuesday night and Wednesday as a larger weather system moves into the Great Lakes and eastern U.S. We'll be watching that rain chance there. However, it does not come with a cool down right behind it. We should stay in the 60s. Is that below normal? Yes. But as I mentioned, there are signs, strong signs and pretty consistent signs that we will be warming back up to more seasonable levels, if not higher, coming up as we get toward about 10 days from now, so about the 17th and points beyond. All right, well, there's been plenty of severe weather in the south lately, and you may have heard the phrase lightning never strikes twice. Now, we know that's not true, but what about a tornado hitting the same home 2 times? Well, storms in Mississippi earlier this week were deja vu for one family.
You know, they say, tornado never hits twice in the same place, but as a witness to it, that's not true. You never know when the storm's gonna destroy your house.
Wallace and her family have seen their fair share of bad storms. This is the second time a tornado has hit her property. The first completely leveled her home.
And this is the second time that we've had a tornado hit our house. The first one was back in 1983 when my parents were still living. The house was not so lucky that time. It was flattened. This is the third time that the house has been rebuilt on this foundation, and but we just count ourselves as being lucky and a blessing to be alive.
You can find uprooted trees and power lines across Franklin County's rural communities. Hundreds of people don't have power. We spoke with a Brookhaven resident who says he rushed from his home to Garden City Road, where his mom was trapped inside her car for hours.
I was actually on my way out here when I got the call from my mom saying that she was trapped in between 2 trees, one in the front and one in the back of them. And she was trapped from like 6 to like 12 a.m. last night. So, and the damage that's been done, like, it's unexplainable because it's gonna take a lot.
Yeah, we have more video from Mississippi from those storms that came through the other night and caused extensive damage. This is in southern Mississippi. A tornado ripped through Lincoln County Wednesday night. This is the scene of the aftermath on Thursday. Now, according to officials, a mobile home park in Bogue Chitto was destroyed. There were multiple reported injuries, but no one was killed. Thousands of residents were left without power. Emergency crews are assessing that damage. Certainly a great deal of damage there, and the problem with mobile homes is while they are certainly affordable homes, they don't withstand that tornado damage very well at all. Well, that destruction can be seen all across Franklin County, Mississippi, following Wednesday's severe weather. So you can see these roofs have significant damage, and of course the wind's really ripping those apart. A lot of tree damage in those areas as well. So it was interesting to watch those storms on radar the other night, just because there was debris showing up on radar indicating that there was a pretty strong tornado coming through. And we've definitely seen some of the damage from that again across southern Mississippi here a couple days later as those hit on Wednesday night. Thankfully, things are quieting down on the severe weather front as the weather pattern is going to be shifting somewhat. However, something that a lot of places that would like to have change is the drought situation. They're even dealing with that out in Utah. And out in Utah, their current drought has a lot of growers trying new things to make sure they can still farm or garden this year. And at one community garden, they're trying something called dry farming. Julia Sander reports.
Great.
What really makes a plant great? The soil, the leaves. Here in Utah, it's their resilience.
Hottest and driest winter on record. So I think we have to challenge the assumption that every time you go to turn on the faucet, there's going to be water there.
Giles Larson with Wasatch Community Gardens has been studying how to grow food without any irrigation after planting. It's called dry farming.
There are certain varieties that are just tough, and they just shoot those roots down fast and access whatever moisture is being stored in the soil, even if the surface of the soil looks dry.
This is their second year trying this method. Last year, about 80% of their trial crops died, but the 20% that did survive put on new growth, flowered, and fruited.
So 2 feet below us right now, it's like super wet.
They're still figuring out what works.
Get your plants in the ground sooner and established sooner so that they're accessing that water. And then when things get hot, they're ready for the long haul.
But for most people, just being more water wise is a good start.
It's important to remember that resources are limited, that we all get a little share of those resources, and the more judicious and conservative we are with those resources, the more there are to go around.
At their annual spring plant sale, James Loomis says they'll have varieties that they breed and grow in their gardens for those who want to conserve water but still plant. For the community gardens, they already use water-wise practices, so the drought hasn't hit them too hard.
You know, being a grower who's been growing here for decades, like a lot of us we're ready for that. We're rolling with the punches.
At the trial site, they've got tomatoes and potatoes surrounded by wallow water, keeping an eye on the temperature and the amount of water underground.
Gardening has always been a difficult game.
But they say it's not about reinventing the wheel, and instead coming up with innovative ways to save. In Salt Lake City, Julia Sandor, Fox 13 News, Utah.
You might not be surprised to learn that researchers have found forever chemicals on the remote southern coast of Argentina, but the surprise might be what helped them in the discovery: penguins. Scientists fitted 55 Magellanic penguins in Patagonia with SPS silicone bands that absorb chemicals from water, air, and surfaces. More than 90% of the bands detected PFAs, a group of synthetic toxic forever chemicals used in a huge range of everyday products. The researchers say it shows that even in very remote regions, penguins and wildlife are constantly exposed to these PFAs. The negative health impact on wildlife has been documented in hundreds of studies. PFAs build up in the environment and our bodies and are difficult to break down. Decades of research has linked PFAs to health risks, including reproductive and developmental issues, including cancers. Many have been banned. The SPS bans could be a good tool in helping scientists better understand the environment the penguins are exposed to and where the PFAs are coming from. All right, finally today, let's check out some new video into us here at 10 TV. As we shared here over the past few days, many parts of Colorado got a late season spring snow, causing concern for falling trees and power outages back on Wednesday. Heavy snow caused some tree branches to break off, a sign of just how wet that snow was, although that is to be expected with these late season events. And of course, some folks trying to knock down the snow just to get that weight off of there. According to CBS News Colorado, the snowstorm dumped upwards of 2 feet of snow in some places. As is often the case this time of year, though, it is on its way to melting and out of there before warmer air comes back in. And then we'll finally leave you on this Friday with a nice sight from Chicago. Some storms rolled through on Thursday, but behind them, rainbow. You can see that looking out over the lake there as those storms were going on by. In fact, you can even see a faint double rainbow. If you look to the right of that brighter band, you can see that faint one, the colors reversed. as it happens with those double rainbows. So a cool sight there from a loft. You can definitely enjoy that nice view there. Nice way to end our Friday here on the 10 Weather Impact Show. Now, coming up at 4 o'clock, as always, Chief Meteorologist Chris Tomer is here to give you the latest updates on your weekend outlook. Of course, lots of things going on. As I mentioned earlier, we have OSU commencement on Sunday, as well as Mother's Day. And of course, graduation parties, things of that nature. All sorts of things now as we get further into spring. Be sure to tune in then. Otherwise, you can always get the latest weather updates whenever you need them on 10tv.com and on the 10TV app. Have a great weekend.